If you Google my name, you won't find a damn thing. No records, no traces, not a single line proving I ever existed. My name is Harold. I'm 82 years old. And right now, I'm renting a rusted tin roof shed tucked behind an abandoned gas station on the edge of town. The kind of place even rats think twice about moving into. When it rains, the water drips steadily through the roof, like some idiot clock ticking away time for a man who's got nothing left to lose. My assets. If I emptied out this worn-out backpack, scraped together every dusty coin, every crumpled bill at the bottom, I'd have exactly $14. Not a cent more, not a cent less. No pension, no insurance, no home, nothing that the outside world would call security. By every standard you've been taught to believe in, I'm a complete failure. A piece of debris that slipped out of the machine and was never picked back up. And I'm not telling you this to earn your sympathy. I'm telling you because the truth is funny. Me, a man with nothing, is the happiest man you'll ever meet. I can see it in your eyes. That look half pity, half judgment. You're telling yourself I must have done something wrong, that I'm stupid or lazy or an addict, that no normal person ends up in a hole like this, right? Wrong. In 1961, I was 20 years old. I wasn't an idiot. I had a full scholarship to one of those elite institutions people worship like a cathedral, Yale Law, a golden ticket, a straight road to money, power, and prestige, the kind of thing your parents would brag about to the neighbors until the day they die. I still remember my first day in that hall, high ceilings, blinding chandeliers, and polished wooden seats like a theater, and all around me were these young men in crisp suits, ties pulled so tight it looked like they were strangling themselves. They smiled, but their eyes didn't. Their eyes darted constantly, measuring each other, comparing, fearing, afraid of not being the best, afraid of not being good enough, afraid of the disappointment waiting in the eyes of the wealthy fathers who paid for them to exist. You know what I saw? A herd of cattle, not future winners, not brilliant minds, just a herd, meticulously groomed, lining up to walk into a slaughterhouse they didn't even realize existed. I sat there for exactly 14 minutes, not 15, not 20. 14 was all it took for me to understand one thing. If I stayed, I'd be selling my entire life in exchange for a paycheck whose value someone else decided. I'd become a name with a price, but I'd stop being a human being. So I stood up. No one stopped me. No one cared. I took off my tie and threw it in the trash like a noose. Then I walked out to the highway and hitchhiked away. Never looked back. My family disowned me for 10 years. Said I was crazy. Said I'd thrown my life away. But no, I was the only one in that room sober enough to see where the real trash bin was. I had a roommate back then, Richard, a good guy, smart, and obedient. He stayed, did everything he was told, studied hard, climbed, fought, won. He became a millionaire lawyer, mansion, beautiful wife, private jet, a perfect picture you could hang on a wall and call success. Richard was the winner. And then he died at 52, heart attack, collapsed right onto the expensive carpet in his office. No enemies, no accident, just a heart that couldn't bear the weight he'd been tying around his own neck for 30 years. His wife had already left him. Couldn't stand a man who spent 80 hours a week making money but had no time left to live. His kids stood at the funeral, eyes dry as stone, not a single tear. He spent his whole life climbing a mountain, carrying a 1,000-pound boulder called expectation. And when he reached the top, there was nothing there but silence. Then the boulder rolled back down and crushed him. And me? I'm 82, dirt poor, forgotten, irrelevant. But tonight, I'll sit in front of this crumbling shed and watch the sun sink slowly beyond the horizon, and my heart will beat steady and light, no rush, no fear. He won the game. Me. I walked away from the table before it could kill me. Society looks at this crumbling shed of mine and sums it up in one neat sentence. Harold, you've left nothing behind. I've heard it so many times it's just background noise now, like the wind whistling through sheets of torn metal. They look at what's visible: money, land, houses, and draw their conclusions. Simple, clean, and completely wrong. Because they don't know I have 3 assets. The only 3 things that, if taken from me, would leave me truly bankrupt. My 3 sons. They're grown now, scattered in different places, each carrying their own kind of mistake, the kind only life can teach. And if you think being a father at 82 means sitting back and enjoying the view, then you've never spent sleepless nights wondering which hole your child is falling into. My oldest, Justin, 32, the one I love the most, maybe because he's the most like me. Stubborn, hot-headed, too quick to trust the wrong people. He got mixed up with the kind of crowd you already know about. Debts piling up, not the calculated kind, but the kind born from repeated bad decisions. He had to leave the place he grew up, working odd jobs in a town far away, like a man on the run. But what he's running from isn't his creditors, it's his own shadow. My second, Dustin, 29. From the outside, you'd call him the stable one. Steady job, no trouble, no disappointments. But when I look at him, I see a cage. He wakes up, goes to work, comes home, eats, drinks his coffee, and sleeps. Repeat, day after day. No dreams, no risks, not even failure. He's not living. He's just existing neatly, quietly, so he doesn't inconvenience anyone. And my youngest, Lucas, 25. An accident, a mistake, but also a flame. He's nothing like his brother's reckless, impulsive, always convinced he's destined for something big. He wants to be rich, not the safe kind of rich, fast, big. And for 3 years straight, he's failed with almost impressive consistency. Everything he touches falls apart. Money slips through his hands like sand. Then one day, he hit rock bottom, not the kind you bounce back from, the kind where, if no one pulls you up, you stay there until you disappear. I stood in front of a choice. On one side, the only piece of land my father left me, the last thing of real value in this ragged life, the thing people call security for old age. On the other side, my youngest son drowning. I sold the land. Any financial expert would call me a fool, and they'd be right if you measure life in numbers. I took every dollar and used it to pay off his debts, to pull him out of the hole he dug for himself. I braced for the aftermath. I thought Justin would explode. I thought Dustin would go quiet and cold. I thought the three of them would start looking at each other like enemies because I had just taken away the one thing they were supposed to share someday. But you know what happened? Not a single word of resentment. Justin, the one running from his own life, was the first to call his brother, not to lecture him, just to say, "You're not done yet. Get up." Dustin, the one suffocating inside his safe little world, took his savings, the only comfort zone he had, and sent it to his younger brother. No noise, no credit taken. The three of them, those mismatched pieces I was always afraid would break apart, stood shoulder to shoulder like a wall. The land was gone. Nothing left to divide. Nothing left to fight over. And for the first time, they truly had each other. That's when I understood something no book will ever teach you. Wealth isn't what you hold on to, it's what you're willing to let go of to create something greater. I lost a piece of land, something lifeless, silent. In return, I gained 3 sons who will stand by each other when everything falls apart. You want to know what real wealth feels like? It's sitting alone in a broken down shed with only a few coins in your pocket, but knowing that out there are 3 people who carry your blood and will never let each other fall. I have nothing to leave behind on paper, but I'm leaving something no one can seize, divide, or put a price on. And if you understand that, then you're already richer than most people who call themselves successful. You're obsessed with the word legacy. It sounds grand, noble. People tell you to work until your back gives out and your heart races, just to pile up money so you can die and leave it behind for your children as if that's the ultimate purpose of a life. Let me tell you the truth no one dares to say out loud. When you leave your children a pile of money, the first thing they feel isn't gratitude, it's a calculation, comparison, suspicion. And if you think your family is different, you just haven't lived long enough. Money doesn't heal, it exposes. It drags even the smallest cracks to the surface and then splits them wide open. That piece of land I had the thing people call an asset. It had no soul. It just sat there, silent, waiting to be divided. But when I sold it, when I used it to pull one of my sons out of the abyss, I didn't lose my legacy. I traded it. I traded land for something money can't buy. I bought my son's souls back. A bargain, if you ask me. Now look at yourselves. Really look at the life you call stable. You buy a house 3 times bigger than you need, then chain yourself to a 30-year debt. You wake up every morning to a cold alarm clock and throw yourself into 80-hour work weeks just to keep the bank from swallowing that house whole. You lock your kids in a beautiful home, private rooms, toys everywhere, but you're not there. You're absent. And then you wonder why they grow up feeling like strangers, like tenants. What are you doing? You've turned yourselves into batteries. Batteries for a machine that never shuts off. You wear smartwatches, count every step, track every heartbeat, and analyze every hour of sleep. You optimize everything except living. You're trying to perfect a life you've never actually touched, and you're afraid. Afraid of the word they slap on anyone who steps out of line. Failure. Let me be clear. Failure isn't losing money. It isn't living in a shed. It doesn't have anything to show off. Failure is living your entire life by a script someone else wrote. Remember my friend Richard? He never failed, never stumbled, never took a wrong turn. He did everything right, and he died alone on an expensive carpet in a cold room where no one truly needed him. He won the game, but he lost his life. And me? I'm sitting here in a broken shed, $14 in my pocket, nothing to lose, nothing to prove. But tonight, I'll cook a pot of hot soup. Simple, no recipe, no plan. Around 7, Justin will call. His voice is still a little tired, but no longer running. Dustin will text. Short, awkward. Have you eaten yet, Dad? And Lucas, he'll send me a picture. The 3 of them are standing next to something they're building together. Not perfect, but real. My heart beats slowly, steady, no rush, no fear. I don't wait for Monday. I don't fear the bills. I don't run. And I'll give you something no one out there wants you to know you have. You're allowed to quit. Quit the stupid race. Drop the backpack full of other people's expectations. Listen to your own breath. Look into the eyes of the people you love, not through a screen. Hold them while you still can. Forgive yourself for not being perfect. Go ahead, be a failure, if that's the price of being free. Because I'm telling you, down here, where there's nothing left to prove, no one left to please. There's something you'll never find at the top, peace. And if you're brave enough to fall, you'll understand.